Hey everybody. So I was having a lot of trouble with the just the YouTube live streaming on my computer. So I'm on my phone now. If anybody was in any of the other attempts to get this live going, this is like attempt number 3. I'm sorry. I am here. I am in, and I did say 7 p.m., but I think one of them accidentally got scheduled for like 6. Um, okay. I'm gonna wait around for a second. See if people can figure it out. Awesome. Hey, I'm sorry about any confusion about the live streams. I was struggling. I was so struggling with the YouTube laptop software, and so I just jumped onto my phone, which worked perfectly. So I will never attempt to do it through the laptop again, because the phone worked in a second and the laptop was like totally struggling. So yeah, I am here. I'm glad. Whoops, shoot. I'm glad to see people jumping into the live stream. Let me mute this here. Setting myself up as everybody jumps on in. Hello to everybody. I love seeing East Coasters. New Jersey. I've never been to New Jersey. I feel like all I hear is people say bad things about New Jersey, and I don't know if it's true or not. I've never been there, but there's people who love New Jersey. Central Wisconsin. Definitely never been to Central Wisconsin. I've actually been to Delaware. I had a job before in Baltimore where I had to go to training in Delaware. So I've actually been to Delaware. Haven't been to New Jersey or Wisconsin. San Jose, I've been to a lot. Because I've had a few event-based jobs out there. You guys have you have a tiny little tech company down in that area. Rhymes with Snapple. It's a really small little company. I don't think that many people know about it. Long Beach. I've been like through Long Beach. I haven't actually settled in there. Troy, Illinois. Where is that in Illinois? All right, we got like 20 people on here. And we only have 2 likes. If anybody wants to pop out and just give this a like, I know I haven't actually done anything, but if you want to give it a like, feel free to pop on over and give it a like. North Dakota. Ooh, we got people from all over the place. And people I definitely recognize from very, very early in my YouTube channel. So I thank you for all the support up to this point. Michigan. Yes, my broadcast is alive. I've decided never to try to live on the laptop again because like it was a mess. So I'm just gonna use my cell phone. Oh, that's so nice, Wendell. All right, so I did write myself a little notepad note of things I wanted to talk about. Since I brought out my tour video, there's been a lot of comments. Like, I've usually been able to keep up with my comments. I have not been able to keep up with those comments. I've had a couple of negative people say, like, really dumb things. I think somebody said my van was trashy. Hi, Indianapolis. And I was just like, whatever. It's mostly been positive. And so that's excited me, especially since I don't have like the biggest, like fanciest van out there. Like I'm literally, I've been putting this together on a shoestring budget from the beginning. And so seeing mostly positive, I mean, I think I've dealt with 2 directly negative comments in response to the video. People who I guess didn't think, my build was good or fancy enough. And, I just kind of was like, I don't care. I mean, I feel like you're not a legit YouTuber until somebody like tries to attack you. And when somebody tries to attack you, it's because like you've gotten big enough to be noticed and they don't like it, especially if you're not fitting into what they consider, ideal YouTube van life to be. And so screw those people. I don't really care. I've been happy with all the positivity that has been coming out in reaction to that video. I Before I get into some of these questions, I do have a surprise coming up. Well, it's for me, so I don't know how much of a surprise it is. I got it today. I knew I was getting it, and it is a solar panel. I officially have a 100-watt solar panel. I'm super excited about sort of adding that to my life. And so now I just need to figure out the best way to install it on my roof. The great thing is it fits like right there where the bars are, and I don't honestly think it's going to be that noticeable. I also think the great thing about minivans is that oh, these comments are hilarious. The great thing about having a minivan is people immediately kind of dismiss small vehicles. They're like, nobody's living in that. That's kind of insane. And so they never think, oh, that's a full-time van. Like I've had people go, your cargo carrier like makes it really obvious what you're doing. First of all, cargo carriers are like everywhere. They're literally everywhere. Like every time I turn around, I see cars with cargo carriers on the top. What makes you obvious is having like a bunch of personal items like strapped down on the roof. If it's not like personal items, if it's just a cargo carrier, they think you camp or you're adventure or you're outdoorsy or you weekend. I don't think people should be afraid of getting cargo carriers on their roof, because like so many people who like surf and snowboard and do other kinds of outdoorsy activities, they have these cargo carriers. So whatever. I think anybody who says like a cargo carrier makes you less stealth, however much stealth is worth, is wrong. They're just flat out wrong. I have never had a problem with the cargo carrier on my roof. Like nobody knows what's in there. It just looks like something you'd put up there if you were going to be adventuring or going camping at some point. And those things are really annoying to mount and take off. Like it's not a 5-second like thing. And so most people who have them on their cars, like they're not like taking them off on a daily basis because they're too much of a pain to get on. Especially the taller your car is, the harder it is. Like I have to get on a ladder to get up there. I have to take everything out. I have to unscrew things. When people have those on their roof, even for non like full-time living situations, like they don't come off easily. You just can't pop it off and set it to the side. And so they stay on the cars that they're on normally. So I think the silliest thing anybody has ever said to me is that makes it more obvious. And the harder thing about it is because I have the cargo carrier up there, I had to really think about how I was going to fit a solar panel and a cargo carrier up there together. So I know what the space is. It's a matter of just getting it securely attached up there in a way that it's, stays and it's safe and it's not going to fly off on me on the road. And also that my ceiling's not going to leak because I drilled through it or something. So if anybody has any really good videos they've seen on just general like solar panel installation, specifically the mounting on the roof part, I would love to see those. I have an idea of what I'm going to do, but I haven't really 100% settled. Sorry about the swallowing. I know I tend to do that. I'll just randomly be like, that's grossed on. It's so grossed on. So if anybody has any suggestions, feel free to email them to me, drop them in the comments of the video. So if you've seen any really cool like ways of installing solar panels, I'm just looking for the suggestions and to see what other people do and find out which one really fits me. So let's talk about some of these questions that have come up in the comments. And sorry if I stopped saying hello to people. I was just kind of rambling on. I'm so grateful that you're all here. First of all, I don't think I should do any more lives with my friend Emily because I get freaking distracted by her. And yeah, and then we just turn into like a giggle fit. So I am not gonna do any more lives of Emily. Not because I don't love her to death. I do, but it turns into a giggle fit. Hello, hello, hello. I'm more interested in having it permanently mounted, Tina. So like, yeah, if you've seen any videos, especially on like smaller vehicles, and I don't know which one I'm going to use. I may go with the method I think I'm going to use, but I I'm just looking for different things to look at. My friend Cora, I don't know how many people remember Cora, but Cora, I did an interview with. She had gotten a pop top cargo van, and she had kind of been harassed because it was older and like somebody had got it towed while it was sitting on the street. Well, her and the van, who she named Medusa, did not work out too well. Medusa continued to have like solar problem. I do giggle a lot. Yeah. Which is why, like, if I'm out with friends, like, you know, doing adult things, then people don't know if it's just me or if I'm actually being affected by the adult gathering, as it were. So yeah, I do giggle a lot. I forgot what I was saying. For solar, I am specifically looking at mounting it. So I'm not so much worried about like wiring. If it's a mix of wiring and mounting, that's great, but I'm mostly looking for like videos how people have mounted the panels on their roof. Most of the times they do whole installs where they mount it and then they show you how they wire it. That's fine. I'm just looking for videos on how they mounted the solar panels because it's really big, and just having it like in the car when I'm driving has a huge thing in the way. Right now it's actually laying on the roof. I've almost can completely yeah, it's not even charging anymore. It's not even getting any sun, but I've already tested it. It's functional. It'll work for what I need to do right now. It's just a matter of mounting it. I still haven't gotten to these questions, have I? I want to say a huge thanks to all the Chrome fans who have acknowledged themselves in my comments. Great, awesome, so glad to have you, Sean. I am a huge Van City Van Life fan, as many people know. And so it's really awesome when people like acknowledge that in the comments, because I do have his stickers everywhere. I really want to go to Canada and meet Chrome. Of course, he's on the other side of, you know, the Canada right now. So even if I wanted to cross up, when he comes back home to Vancouver, he'll actually be closer to me than he is right now because he decided to travel across Canada. So I have to wait for him to circle back and then, you know, make this happen. Next time he has a meetup, hopefully I won't be working. So some people have they've wanted to go back to the beginning of my story, and they had questions. So the big thing is like a lot of people want to know how I started. Yeah, he went east. I kept saying direction. The direction he went is east. But I started out living in my car because I was in a roommate situation, and me and her were not getting along. So it was partial she wanted me out and she was like making moves to push me out, and partial like I was so stressed living there, I thought like living in my car for a while would be better than continuing to sort of live in this highly stressful situation. And so that's what I did. I moved into a car, and it was supposed to be a temporary situation. I put a bunch of stuff in storage, and I was like, all right, in a few months, you know, I'll find a place. And as everybody knows, rent is crazy. Like rent is crazy like everywhere. Curious Carly is her name. Not Kelly. So rent is insane. And so like the amount of money people wanted for rent, literally something like you don't own, just didn't make any sense to me. And I started watching a lot of nomad videos. And when I started watching Nomad videos, I was like, well, is there a way to make this like comfortable and just like commit to it? And I knew from the beginning I did not want to stay in a car. I was like, if I'm going to commit to this, I need to figure out a way to get a van. And so that's what I did. I had an old Toyota Avalon. I think it was like a 2001 or something like that. And then I moved from the Avalon into the Toyota Sienna I have now. I was able to trade up the cars, even though I was still in the process of paying for it. Yes, I was in the process of paying for a used car. I didn't really have a lot of money. I went to one of those your jobs, your credit places, because it was the only option I had, and I needed something to be in, and so I took the only option available to me at the time, thinking it was just temporary and it would eventually just become my car. And when that became more a reality that wasn't going to change anytime soon, I transitioned to wanting to get a van. And so I got a van and I moved into it, and I literally moved out of the car into the van. I took a few more things out of storage because I had a little more space. And then God, I lost track of my own story. But then I was like, having this storage unit is dumb. I mean, like, if I'm going to fully commit to this, I need to get rid of the storage unit. And so I transitioned to the point that I didn't have the storage unit anymore. I sold stuff. I got rid of stuff. I just plain got rid of stuff until I fit in the van. And I've continued to work on that fitting in the van. From that point, I first started living in the van. I started living in my car about a year ago. So it was like August. So in August, I had been without standard housing for about a year. And in October, I will have been in the van for a year. So from August to October, I was in a car, and halfway through that, my window got busted. Somebody broke into my car while I wasn't in it and stole some stuff, which was not the greatest. So I actually, for the last couple months I had the car, it had like a broken window. So I was sleeping in it with a broken window with like plastic over one of the windows. And then I transitioned to the van. And I think I just saw a question that was relevant to this. Give me a second. The one thing the laptop is good for is like going back in the comments list, because it's so hard to do on the phone. I think somebody asked me about getting a knock. Have I ever gotten a knock? Yes, I've gotten a knock. I've had two? No, I've actually had three knocks. The one of them was while I was in the car, and it kind of pissed me off because I was in a Planet Fitness parking lot. It was a 24-hour Planet Fitness, and the security guard came to the back of the lot. And the reason why I pulled into the lot is because like there was already somebody there in a vehicle that was obviously sleeping. And so I pulled into the lot in my car, and I put up my window covers for privacy more than anything, because I'd slept in that car with no window covers. And oh, okay. Well, I know I saw the thing about the knock. But long story short, security knocked on the window, told me I couldn't sleep there. I said okay. I took my window covers out. There was neighborhood parking a couple blocks away. I drove into the neighborhood, did the exact same setup, and was not disturbed for the rest of the night. This is why I am not fond of parking lots too much, because honestly, sleeping on the street, even with full window covers that were obviously reflectix, I have never been bothered, like, at all. It's always been security guards, and it's always been in parking lots. The second one was at a Walmart, if you could believe it. It was not a 24-hour Walmart, and I was getting my car worked on the next day, and the Walmart was next door to the Firestone. Since then, when I've gone to like a auto place to get something looked at, I've just honestly stayed in the auto parking lot, because worst that happens, somebody knocks, I can be like, I'm getting my car repaired in the morning, so I'm just gonna like stay with it until they open up. And I think people will leave me alone, but I've never been bothered when I've like just gone to the auto place and just like slept in the lot or near it overnight. But anyway, I decided to go to the Walmart because it's Walmart, and apparently this Walmart does not allow overnight parking. And so they knocked on the window and told me I had to bounce. And so once again, what I did was, I was in the van at this point. I left the parking lot. I pulled up Google Maps. I found a neighborhood. I pulled into a neighborhood, parked, and I went to sleep. Not disturbed the rest of the night. And what was the third one? And this is how unimportant these things are to me. It has always been a security guard, and it's always been in a parking lot. Now, mind you, I am in a parking lot right now, and let you see, my window's open. Like, I'm sitting here talking to you guys. There's a Target in the other direction. There's a Safeway that way. There's like a Starbucks. But like, this parking lot I've never been disturbed in. And like, I sleep here like all the time. There's an apartment. Let me see if I'll turn. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's an apartment complex right over there. Both windows are open. Honestly, people can see me and hear me. I'm letting the airflow right now. Sorry for my hand over the mirror. But like, I slept here a bunch. And I've also seen RVs stay here overnight. And that's why, well, my camera's fine. Let me see. Oh, I see. I'm looking at the laptop now. That's weird. Boop, boop, boop. Let me see. Let me see. That's so weird. Do, do, do. Okay. Try refreshing your screen if I freeze up, but let me know if you have problems. Oh, but I didn't get a knock when I was at the cafe. Like, they literally paid me no attention. They were getting their coffee. I woke up and was worried about the cops, but they didn't give a damn about me. I think that was like, it was one of the early nights in the van. Like, I have never, ever had a cop knock on my car while I was living in it. A long time ago, I came home from work tired in Baltimore, and I fell asleep in my car because I was tired, and a neighbor called the cops, and I had a knock on my window, and I sort of jerked up in the driver's seat. And the cop, I think, thought I was on drugs or something, and I was just legit tired. And I told him I lived in the neighborhood, and I got out my SUV, and he was like, "Well, where do you live at?" Like, he didn't really trust me. And I pointed to the house, and it was the house where I lived at that point. And I just went on into the house, and he kind of watched me walk to the house to see if I was lying. But that's why I say, it's weird because I'm looking at a laptop screen to also make sure that I'm still moving. But that's why I say it's not actually the cops you have to worry about so much as like people in a neighborhood. So what you want to do is not be a disturbing person in that neighborhood. And so that's what I always try to be. Like, I arrive at night, I'm another quietly parked car. Like, nobody's gonna like come examining and see what's going on. And I go to sleep. And I've done that in a car without window covers. I've done it in a car with window covers. I've done it in my van. I just pick a spot, I pull in, and I go to sleep. And that's another reason I really like Chrome, is that that's always been the way that he's operated as well. And the video is moving, but I have a spinning circle on Dawn's face. Yeah. So yeah, buses are gonna be tricky. I mean, the honest thing about city life is that larger vehicles are going to be more problematic. And it may not be because you're not supposed to sleep in your vehicles. It may just be because, just hit the refresh on your browser. That'll work too. Just like find whatever refreshes on your browser. Usually there's like some little spinny thing, and you can just refresh the screen. So whatever refreshes your browser should work. But for city living, length, the longer you get, the more problem it's going to be. The taller you get, the more complicated it's going to be. Having something that looks like a work van is going to play to your advantage, mostly because people just aren't going to pay attention to it. But the bigger you get, the more cautious you have to be about where you park. Whereas I don't have to think about it much because people just see a minivan. Oh, thank you. uh Well, I'm glad you got the screen working. I have my laptop screen going as well, just so I can see if there's any like weird freezes or anything. I just have it on mute so I don't double double click on it. But yeah, so like for city life, I think, the bigger vehicle you get, everybody wants like this huge vehicle, but the bigger your vehicle gets, the more complicated it is. And so everything is about choices. And yes, it would be nice to be able to be in a vehicle I could stand in, but I have this huge advantage of I just fit places. And a lot of things you're trying to pay attention to is parking laws. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, what are the laws of parking? And sometimes when you get a taller vehicle, yes, please remind people to thumbs up. Sometimes when you get a taller vehicle, the problem isn't if you're allowed to sleep in your vehicle or not. It's that some of those vehicles aren't actually allowed to park on residential streets overnight. And so that is what the problem is that you have a commercial vehicle that looks like a commercial vehicle that for some weird reason is parked on this random street overnight. There's an alarm going off. I don't know why. It stopped. It was in front of the Home Depot. I hope it wasn't somebody's car. Well, what kind of van is it? Because that's the thing. Okay, so the comment says I have a hot top van, but I'm parked at a friend's. But you're worried about like when you have to park on the street. Well, first of all, hey, what's up? I'd have to ask what kind of van it is, because van means a lot of things. So it's just a regular Ford conversion van. I wouldn't worry about it. Literally, those things are on the street all the time. Like, people own those as just like regular vans. And so that's the thing. It's like, you really need to look, like, drive through a neighborhood and look at the stuff in people's driveways. The channel is called Van City Vanlife. Somebody asked, what's the channel for Chrome? It's Van City Vanlife, and really watch his videos at the beginning. Like, right now he has this pimp van. He's a full-time YouTuber, but really his early videos where he built a bed and he got some plastic furniture. He was in his van for a year without like even doing the insulation yet. Like, he's literally built up the van while he's lived in it. And so seeing those early videos, I think, is really encouraging to people who only know him as like Chrome now. Really don't have the advantage of seeing like early Chrome before he was free enough to just travel. And what I really appreciate about Chrome is like he spent 2 years on his channel building up to be able to do that travel. Like, he didn't have it right away. And I think seeing those early videos from him, especially as big as he is now, are really encouraging for you can get in the van and then build up to it. But yeah, I wouldn't worry about a conversion van. Like, nobody's gonna pay like attention to a conversion van. Conversion vans park on the street. Now, if you go into a neighborhood and it's mostly driveway parking and not a lot of people parked on the street, don't park there because your car is going to stand out. What you do want is neighborhoods where most people are parked on the street, so that it's probably not weird that like somebody's friend would be visiting and taking up like street parking. You're really looking for places that have street parking. Apartment complexes that have street parking on the street are also really great. I do not have special car insurance for my van. I have a residential address. That's all I'm gonna say. and so that's you know, there is a address listed that is my residential address. I also have a private mailbox, which is what I consider my real address. It's the one that's listed in my videos. It's actually on my driver's license as my mailing address. And I have all of my mail forwarded or pushed there, but I do have a usable residential address. I mean, and as far as getting insurance, my answer is always do what you got to do. But I'm not going to say any more about that. But the answer is no, I don't have any kind of special insurance. I just have insurance. Okay, what else was popping up on the video? A lot of people want to know how the fridge is working out, and the reason why I haven't done a video on the fridge is because that Bluetti, when it's fully charged, can run that fridge for about 4 hours, and that's about it. And even with driving during the time, letting it back up enough to consistently run it. The solar panel specifically has been purchased to help with that. At max, that fridge pulls about 50 watts. And then once it's kind of gotten going, it kind of drops down a little bit over time. So I haven't done a review on that because I want to get the solar panel installed and run it in the Bluetti for a few days and see how the combination works before I do a full review on what it is. I did plug it in a house. While I was in the house that I was house sitting, yes, the UPS store is great, but also just look up, sorry, I got distracted by this. Somebody said use the UPS store's address. The UPS store is great because it'll give you a quote unquote real address, but those addresses can get flagged in certain situations as not a residence, even if it looks like one. So I say still have a residence address, whatever way you can get it. I did not get a Jackery battery bank. I have the 200 watt Max Oak Bluetti. But it cannot, all the YouTubers got Jackeries. I'm getting distracted again, but I'm upset that I wasn't special enough to get one. So I need all you guys to write to Jackery and tell them you want the Dawn of Vanlife to review a Jackery and see if we can get me one, okay? But as far as the power station I do have and the little thermoelectric cooler I'm using, I haven't reviewed it because I'm specifically want to test everything set up and see how long it lasts and how I can use it before I talk about how good it is, how bad it is. The thermoelectric cooler on its own works great. But yeah, I'm not in a place to actually talk about those. I wanted to see you guys to see that they were installed words. But I like to also put things through its paces before I do a review about them. So I don't want to do a review like a week after I got it or 2 days or when it just came in the mail, because that's not going to give me the information I need to share with you about sort of the quality of the product. Yeah, I like cooler though. Well, that fridge is literally the same size as my cooler, which was a 15-liter cooler. I think outside dimensions are a little weird, but it's about the same. But once I've actually put once I've actually put it through its paces, then I will talk about the I think it's called a Cooluli. Cool-U-L-I. Cool. I call it Coolio sometimes, like the rapper. I'm old. I just mentioned Coolio the rapper. But it runs well. When I ran it while I was staying at the house for a week, it ran well. It got drinks cold. So as long as I can keep it consistently running, it'll do what I need it to do. What else? Okay, so this came up a couple times, so I'm just gonna round. I ain't that old. This was coming up, and actually the next question I wrote down that people kept asking in the comments was how I get mail. Like I said, my primary thing is a private mailbox. The UPS store is great because they do real addressing. Some PO boxes will also do real addressing. You just have to check with the post office box and check it out. You can get a PO box, but the thing about a PO box, as soon as people see it, they know it's a PO box. So it's better to have something with real addressing. I am using a small mailbox company near where I stay most of the time. So it's not the UPS store, but it's giving sort of the same like services. Why are you trying? Whatever. I don't have time to respond. I don't respond to silliness. Hi, Catherine. I was talking about mail. So I would say just look up private mailboxes near me. There's also I need an actual moderator. I've never had this situation. Again, it's signs that shoot. Let me see something. I'm trying to see if I can do something. I don't have moderators because I haven't been in need of one. Let me see. Sean, you are now a moderator. Grammy Debbie, I'll make you one too. Okay. Who else is acting up? Grammy Debbie, thank you. Yeah, I guess that's a sign that the channel is growing. They were like, uh-oh, a black person is getting popular. All right, let me see. I'm definitely not going to waste time replying to them because that's what they want. All right, I've given a couple of people like moderator powers, so yeah, please. Exactly, they want attention. That's why I'm not replying to it. And if they're so unhappy in their lives, they need to go attack people. Like, that just shows like they have a problem. Like, people can come on here and see the kind of person I am, and I don't really need to feel. I'm not a person who's gonna be like, oh, you want to get at me? I'm gonna get at you. There's too many positive people in this chat right now for me to react to sort of that kind of negativity at all. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm like. Oh, I'm so important. You actually thought coming on my channel. Thank you, everybody who volunteered to be a moderator. But yeah, for mail, I advise having a private mailbox. And in general, you're also going to want at least a residential address you can use. I always use my college friends as an example. A lot of my college friends, when I was in college, I was an independent adult at that point, so I didn't really have like parents to depend on. But a lot of college students, their residence address the entire time they're in college is their parents' address. Even though they don't live there, even though they're not there most of the year, physically speaking, their parents' address remains their residential address. And then they have a mailing address, which is where the school is. Usually it may be a mailbox provided by the school. It may be the apartment they're staying in for just that semester. A lot of the people I knew in college moved from semester to semester. So when it comes to addressing yourself for van life, I always think about it like that. Now, if you're trying to set up residency in a state you don't actually live in, like, that's a little bit more complicated, and you'd want to talk to a Bob Wells about that. But if you're like, hey, I'm in California in my case, because I work, I'm mostly in the Berkeley, Oakland area. Like, I know I'm going to be here all the time. I know, like, there's the whole logic of it'll be cheaper to, like, go to another state and establish residency and have cheaper XYZ based on that residency. But I don't mind. Like, I am in California most of the time. California is not perfect. It definitely has problems, but I'm not going to try to, like, establish myself in a state I'm not in. I'm actually in California most of the time. I'm actually using resources in California most of the time. And the easiest way for me to have a residential address and a mailing address is to have those in California, because I know people in California who have residences. And that also helps out with mail. Because, like, there are times I can't ship to, I use Amazon sometimes, and I love Amazon lockers. Amazon lockers are great, but I can't always send stuff to an Amazon locker. Sometimes stuff is too big. Sometimes I want to use eBay because it's cheaper. Sometimes I want to use some other source to buy something, and it needs to be mailed. And so, like, because I have a community in California, I can be like, hey, Emily, or my other friend, and be like, you know, do you mind if I send this package to your house? And I do not use Emily's address as my residential address, so nobody try to track her down. That is not the residential address I use. It's something else. But you have to have both. And you just gotta do what you have to do there, and, you know, limit information. I can cook with my doors open. Let's jump into a new question. Is the Amazon lockers a question, or see? Sorry, the Amazon lockers. I didn't know if that was a question. But yeah, so that's my my mail answer, is that you do what you have to do. I recommend a private mailbox. I also recommend, some of them do. Mine does, as long as you don't abuse it. I have a limit of a number of packages they'll accept for free. If I continue to receive, you have to actually investigate the private mailbox service you're using and find out what kind of extra fees they tack on to do stuff. Like, I was asking them if I left town, would they forward mail to me? And they were like, yeah, to a certain amount. So it's just a question of asking questions. Once you establish a private mailbox, ask the questions and find out what fees are attached for extra things, and figure out how that works with your life. So the question about Amazon lockers, you just, when you're ordering and you're checking out of Amazon and you go to mailing address, you have the option of choosing to mail that to a locker. There is absolutely no extra fee. It costs the exact same to, like, ship it to your house. What I like about it is I started using Amazon lockers and also ship to store. I really like ship to store. So if you order something from, like, Walmart or Target, I do have a carbon monoxide detector. But ship to store is also something else I found out about and started using when I was living in apartments. I don't know how many people live in apartments, but in apartments, sometimes the delivery people are not the postal service. A lot of times, postal service will have access to the building. The delivery people, as a delivery person, I know this, do not necessarily have access to your building. They're honestly just a strange person showing up with a package. And so, like, getting access to a building is difficult. And so when I lived in a few apartments, packages were left outside doors, they were left on steps, they were left in all these insecure places. So that's when I found out about ship to store. And so what you do, you order it, you tell them to send it to the store, and then you just go to a counter and you pick it up from the store. Yeah, I don't know where they came from either. I just count it as me having clout. I've appointed a few moderators to take care of them. But anyway, so I found out about ship to store, and then I found out about Amazon lockers. And the good thing is your package is secure. You pick an address near you. It's usually at a 7-Eleven or a Whole Foods or something like that. You get sent a code. You say, it says your package is there. And so you go to where your package is, and then you type in the code, door opens, you get your package, and you go on about your merry way. Your package was secure the whole time. They even have like bigger Amazon stores, at least here, where sometimes you can get bigger things shipped and then you can just walk in and pick it up. Like today with my solar panel, I had it shipped to Home Depot. I ordered it on Home Depot online. Had it shipped to Home Depot. I came to Home Depot. I went to the desk. I said, I have an online order, and then I went to pick it up. A lot of questions have like scrolled through that I actually have scrolled past. I charge my phone a bunch of different ways. I have power banks. I charge it in my car while I'm driving. There's a whole bunch of ways I charge my phone. If you look at my power in my van videos, it'll give you a lot of that information. I will try to do a cooking video. The problem with doing cooking videos in the van is where to put the camera so that it's not in the way and I don't knock it over. Because there's not a lot of room in here, it's really hard to stage a camera. Ooh, it's getting dark. And then like perform in front of it, for lack of a better term. And so, yeah, like, yeah. Ooh, it's getting dark. Where's my Lucille? Let me see if this helps. That helps a little bit. This is a little light that uses AAA batteries, and it's like so freaking useful. And I just pin it to the top of the van, and boom. It's giving me a weird light, but actually, you can't say anything, can you? Ah, that's better. All right. Okay. Yeah. So I hope I answered the Amazon lockers question. It is $0. I do cook in my van all the time. We had a couple hot days in California. I'm going back and looking at a couple questions, seeing how many I can answer. But Paul! Hey Paul! I'm so happy to see you in my Congrats on how well your channel's been doing lately, Paul. Bread Trucker. If you haven't seen Paul Berger's channel, he's a great, awesome dude. I met him in person around the time of RTR, and he's great. And I'm so happy he's here. I'm trying to see if there's any other questions I haven't answered. If anybody wants to re-ask, I'll try to... People's comments roll past so fast. I sometimes miss some questions. I think I've already answered the question of where do I park. Like, most of the time I park on the street. Every once in a while I park in a parking lot like I'm in right now. I hardly ever park at Walmart. Everybody jumps on Walmart. I need knives for work so there are knives all over the van because I do stagehand work. One of the tools you use a lot is a blade. And so like I have about 3 blades around the van. Okay. People have asked if I'm afraid. I am not, to be honest. I feel like I have a celebrity in my live stream right now. But no, I've never been really that afraid. I have needed to sleep in my car before I started living in the van, and because I started... Here's the thing about housing. I'll get back. Thank you, Paul. I'll get back to that question about affordable housing situation. I'm used to living in the city. I grew up in the inner city of Baltimore. I lived there for many years. It was on 4th of July when I heard noises outside my window. I didn't know if they were fireworks or gunshots, and it was just normal stuff. Like, I've always lived in a city. Like, honestly, it was more weird for me sleeping at RTR and even like in any other kind of campsite situation than it is sleeping in the city. I've always slept in a city where there's noise and there's people outside your van. Now, what's really weird sometimes is like sometimes people sound too damn close to your van and you get a little bit worried. But it's been enough times now that I realize they're just walking past talking, especially when you hear like a little bit of chatter just too close to your window. But otherwise, no, it hasn't bothered me at all. It's been relatively like normal. The biggest thing has been getting a comfortable bed. And once I had a comfortable bed, I was fine. So I've never really been scared so much. I do not park at Walmart because I've only had bad experience. No, I'm lying. There was my one Walmart victory when I was in Arizona and I slept at Walmart. I'm lying. I might have done it twice. I might have slept at Walmart twice. But mostly I do not sleep at Walmarts. Also, there's more Targets than Walmarts around here. And so you have to drive like really, really far to get a Walmart. And my goal is always to be as close when I have a job. My job is to be as close to the job as I can be. And when I don't have a job, is to be as close to something as pretty as I can be. So that's a day I might sleep like near the beach, you know. Yay, Baltimore. What's a good time you pull into do I pull into a parking spot? Before I answer that, let me answer the affordable housing question. At this point, no. There was a point where, yes, I was seeking affordable housing. For me, when I want to own, I am still live. Can you not? Let me look at the laptop here. For me, the next time I invest some money in something, I want it to be something I own. I am not interested in renting. I am not interested in compromising myself in the way I have to live. To live with roommates. I freaking hate apartments. Like, I would rather pee in a bucket every day than live in an apartment again, let alone live with a roommate. Like, there's all these eggshells that you're walking on constantly when you live with other people. Would I buy a house if I could afford it? Yes, I'd love to have a home base, especially kind of like remote and separated. At least I want a big yard. I would take a house if I could afford it. I don't want to live in an apartment again. I don't want to rent a room in a shared housing situation again. I just don't want it. Those situations have been miserable. And there was a time I wanted that because I didn't know any better. I didn't know I could have anything else. And now I have this freedom and I wouldn't give it up. I mean, like, why would I? Like, I'm completely in control of my life. Even if my van loses value, I can sell it. Like, this van, I can always sell for money. Even if it's less than what I bought it for, I can sell it for money. You know what happens to rent? It goes to the landlord. It goes to the company that owns the building. And you never see it again. You maybe get your security deposit back. And if you've lived in a place for a year, you've put out 12 times more than that security deposit, possibly, and even more than that, because there's things you have to fix in the apartment that's just on you. Now, the good thing about renting is the owner takes care of a lot of stuff, but there's still stuff that's going to be on you. I would love to have a home base or at least a piece of land someday, but I don't want to ever rent again, either a room or an apartment, whatever. I don't want to rent again. Like, I'm happier in my van where I have my own space. If I want to be near people like I am right now, like I'm surrounded by people, sort of. I mean, it's a parking lot. People are walking around. Then I can be. And then when I don't want it, I just go somewhere where I'm not so surrounded. And I love that freedom. But yeah, so the answer is, at this point, no. It was definitely something I wanted early on. The reason why I don't need a motel on occasion is because I do pet sitting. Like, when I finished out the van, I was staying in a house. It was a house of a friend who occasionally hires me for pet sitting. When I do pet sitting, that is not a question I'm going to answer. Yes, a tiny house would be great, but like, also I could see myself getting a larger RV and putting that on a piece of land and just like doing that, buying a piece of land, parking like a big fifth wheel that I'm never going to move on it. I would never want to travel with a fifth wheel. It seems like a lot, but those things are freaking gorgeous inside. I could see parking it on a piece of land and just having it permanently be there. But yeah. I lost track of what I was saying. I'm sure there was some good information in there somewhere about not wanting to rent. What else did I have written down? I know I've missed some comments, so I'm sorry if I missed it while I was on that tirade. People really want to know about the bathroom. Let me say that I have a collapsible toilet in my van. If you really want to see it, I will make a video about it. It is for emergencies. Again, I am a city van dweller. There's at least, let me think. The Safeway has a bathroom. The Target has a bathroom. The Home Depot has a bathroom. Starbucks and Taco Bell are closing soon, but they both have bathrooms. There's at least 5 bathrooms accessible to me right now, as far as like a toilet. For a shower, like many van dwellers, I use the winter. Don't let me out winter. But I use the gym as my primary shower source. And then when I can't get to the gym, because I don't go every day to the gym, I'm not even gonna sit here in line and say I do. I take this thing. It's called a washcloth. And then I get out some water and some soap, and I clean myself, and I wash down my face, and I get some of the nasty bits that you don't want to see. And then next time I do laundry, I found out having multiples of these is great, because like if it gets really grimy, I just use a clean one. And if I have about a week's worth, it'll carry me until laundry day. And I wash these, and then the next week I have a bunch of clean washcloths to wash up in the van when I need to. All you need is water, soap, and a cloth. And so like about maybe 3 or 4 times a week, sometimes 2 to 3 times a week, I go to the gym, and in between that, I literally get some water, put it on this cloth, and wash up. They do it to you in the hospital, so it has to be sanitary. You know, it's called a sponge bath. They also do it for seniors. And also, I don't know about other people, but I have washed up at a sink while living in a house. So this isn't something I didn't do when I was house living. I mean, I don't have a sink, but it's the same concept. You wet a cloth, you put some like cleaning stuff on it, otherwise known as soap, and then like you clean up. It's completely sanitary. Like bathtubs did not always exist. Showers did not always exist. But people act like if you can't spray a bunch of water all over your whole body, like you're dirty. There's other ways to clean up. I do use baby wipes. I use baby wipes as well. I found these really cool ones at the dollar store, and you can tell it from the dollar store, generic washcloths. But they're really big, and a lot of the baby white ones are small, and these are really big. So I've really liked these, and they're only $1 at the dollar store, and you get, I don't even know how many, 24. You get 24 in here. So I really like those. Winter has come up. I live in California. That's my answer to winter. I do live in the Bay Area. It can get cooler, but it's never really that cold. I do have a small Mr. Buddy heater that my friend gave me. So when it gets really cold and it's really chilly, I can put that on for a little bit. At night, I'm cozy in my sleeping bag. So it's really if like I'm sitting here and I'm a little bit chilly, I can just put on the Mr. Buddy for a little while and it warms up. My solution to winter is don't be where it snows or getting extremely cold as much as possible. So that's my solution to winter. I live in California. There isn't a lot of chance of extreme temperatures here. So yeah, it's not that big of a deal. Work. So work has changed since the situation started. There was a time, I keep seeing that pop up. Where am I as in city state, or where am I as in, location? I'm in a parking lot in California. I won't be any more specific than that. So dang it. Yes, I'm a city van dweller. I sleep in the city almost every night unless I specifically choose not to, or things like RTR, which was it was my first huge road trip to go to RTR. So yeah, is there anything else that I want to say about that? I'm at a bank heist. Do you want my GPS coordinates? No. Yes, I'm in a parking lot at a shopping center. um, so we talked about the bathroom. Am I afraid on city streets? We talked about winter. People have asked why I didn't show how I set up stuff in my tour video. For one, the tour video was an overall to let a lot of people who have been on my channel for a while know how things have changed. uh, don't forget about the parking. What do I need to say about the parking? Do 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 do. I lose my thoughts. So I'm getting old. I lose my thoughts so quickly. Setups again. Unlike Paul Berger, I just know he's in the comments, so I'm going to talk about him, who has a bread truck. I've been in the bread truck. It's really cool. It's like walking into an apartment. The minivan is really tiny, so it's really hard to like set up a camera and do stuff in front of it that really gives you a wide shot. Like a lot of my shots in the back of the van are just like this, where like you can see me and it's a really narrow view, and it's really hard to get like a wide shot without literally sitting a tripod outside the door with the door wide open at a distance from the van. And my big thing about that is either one, somebody running off with the tripod, or two, somebody just running into it. So like for the tour video, I just had a bunch of people staring at me because I had like all these weird tripod shots, and then I would perform in front of it, and then I'd run to the tripod and I'd turn off the phone camera. So like that, what was it, like a 20-minute video? It took 2 days to film because it was a lot of that. So it's really hard for me to show wide shots. It's hard for me to show cooking. I'm going to try to, because a lot of people want to see me cook in a van. I do cook with both windows open. I've been doing it for almost a year. A lot of van lifers I know use propane stoves inside their van. You open a window. You definitely don't want to do it with all of your windows rolled up and no kind of ventilation. Or if you have like a ceiling vent, that's another place where it's useful, because like you're just trying to not bake in a tin can. But most people who live in vans, and I will go as far to say most, have propane or butane stoves. No, Paul is great. No, I was making a point because you have a bread truck, Paul. Like, it's easier to do a wide shot in a bread truck than it is in a minivan. So that's sort of the point I was making. Like, if you have like a larger vehicle, it's easier to set up the camera at an angle that you can get some wider shots, I guess. Whereas like everything is kind of on top of me, and so like it's a little harder to like set up the camera and then do something in front of it that's not like this, where I'm just like talking directly to it. That's all it was. I was just using the bread truck as an example of just like having more space to do shots like that. So yeah, I know video can feel very fly on the wall, but the camera's somewhere, and so when you're filming it, you really have to think about, well, where's the camera gonna go if I'm trying to show this? And so I love doing videos, but honestly, like, showing how I do something in the van takes 3 times longer than doing it without showing it. Sometimes longer than that, depending on what I'm trying to show. That being said, videos are really fun. I don't get bored because I work. Ooh, that's the other thing people have been asking about. Work. That's what I got distracted from by so many things. So I mostly do contractual work. I do still do gig economy stuff like Uber Eats and Amazon Flex. What I do personally is stage manage for theaters across the country. Which is my temperature control, because like I said, my control for winter is I live in California, so it's not going to get that bad. So the main thing I do is, one, I do stagehand work. It's on-call work. It's not consistent, for a stage van company. Um, wow, really? I haven't checked the view count. Amazing. So I do stagehand work for a stagehand company, and mostly the San Francisco Bay Area of California. And then I also stage manage for theater. I am trying to transition to being a union stage manager, so I'm provide a full-time pay for the time I'm doing it, or um will lead to getting my equity card. You can't just go join the union, which is called Actors Equity. I know I said I'm a stage manager, but it is the Actors. To get the card, you have to get jobs with theaters that do A&E, AEA, sorry, Actors Equity shows. And so I'm trying to get my card, but that means saying no to a lot of the smaller theaters I used to work for. So in between, basically doing right now. I do have a show that hopefully will happen in December. Rehearsals will start, but I haven't gotten sent the contract and I haven't signed on yet. It's not unusual. I've gotten contracts at the last minute, but I don't want to say like that is happening until it actually happens. But fingers crossed, it's ending in December. I didn't have anything for 2 months. So a lot of like a lot of people in entertainment jobs, I'm just sort of grabbing. Now I have a part-time job house. And so I've been doing that overnight, and that's sort of what I'm using for consistent income. And then I'll use my gig economy apps, like Uber Eats, to grab some extra money until I start that job. Hopefully, everybody, fingers crossed, in December. What else do we have on here? Woo, it's 8 o'clock. So a lot of people have also been asking how they can contact me. If it's buffering, try refreshing. It seems to be working on my computer. But a lot of people have been asking. Oh, really? Sorry, Tina. It may be the phone. But blue, blue, blue. What was I saying? A lot of people have been asking how they can contact me. In the description of almost all of my videos, maybe not the really, really early ones. Ooh, thank you for sticking with me then. That's right, you East Coast guys are way ahead of me. There is all the methods of contacting me. So my Instagram is listed. But I'm still confused in learning how to use Instagram because I'm old. I'm going to keep saying that, and then people are going to say, you're not old. I put an email address in the description of all my videos, and there must be something else. There's ways to contact me in the description. Oh, actually, people have asked me, somebody asked, do I have a P.O. box? I have my mailing address listed in the description of the video. So I'm reachable via mail and email by simply clicking the description of my video. Yes, it's on my YouTube page. If you go to the about for the channel, if you go to Donna, I haven't found a perfect use for it. Then also there's a way, if I were old, I'd have a real toy. I'm going to be 40 on my birthday. My birthday is October 18th. So yeah, my birthday is October 18th. I am going to be 40 years old. So yeah, which nobody believes. They're like, you're not 40. And I'm like, yes, I am. It's weird for me too. But life moves on, and I actually feel in a mixed but good place about it. Yay, October 21st. October babies. Wait till a minute. I'm just a kid. Keep bringing it on. I love hearing this. I'm just a kid. I don't know what I want for my birthday. Um, I mean, wait, what is that? Oh my gosh, I got a super chat. Thank you, Silver Surfer. That's so amazing. The only thing I would really want to improve the power system in my van, so I just hope I save up enough money to do that, make that a birthday present for myself. Done research about batteries, trying to figure out rather than later. I just honestly want to be able to run my fridge all day. Like that would be the greatest like gift to myself. There's also like if I can get Jackery 500, a Jackery 500 would actually it would do exactly what I need to do. But yeah, that's the only thing I really want for my birthday is like to continue to improve the power system in my band. I know I got my first super chat. I feel like so honored. I'm so happy. I finally found the perfect mix apparently of and video. uh really? Okay. Uh Dear Jackery, all I want for my birthday is a Jackery 500. The Apex is expensive. Um, so yeah, that's all I want for my birthday. All right, so it is 8 o'clock when we started at 7. Um, so any other questions? Anything I missed where you're like, Don, you missed this, answer this. Talked about mail. I've talked about toilets. I'm going to talk more about toilets in a separate video because people are really always questioning. uh, you're going to have, I feel like once you reveal what you the 1500 is also a few YouTubers have reviewed that. It's a little bit cheaper and it seems like it's still a pretty good machine based on Will Pros and Hobotech's review. What? So before I close this out, does anybody have any questions? Oh, do I want a bigger van? Oh, will I be at the next RTR? Hopefully I don't miss some of these. Okay, I would love to have a pop top, to be honest. Like, so yeah. Next year's RTR depends. I might have a conflict work that is super important to me getting where I want to be. Like I said, ideally I want to be a stage manager who is union, and that way yeah, I have a cheap Android phone. I'm sorry. I do not have a TV because I watch the like button. Yes, click out and hit the like button. I'm sorry for any audio issues. Uh Share Bear, good question. If so, can I get in that drawing? Because he does have a lot. He has a few, but he does good reviews. Um, I'm so honored to think that you thought I was in my 20s. Wi-Fi. Right now, I have the phone on Walmart Family Mobile's plan. I would love to go to the van build in November. My phone has hotspot. I should probably stop sticking my tongue out. That's weird. Extravagant minimalist. A meetup in the Bay Area. I haven't done one because I didn't think it would. Yeah, it's 8 p.m. here. Time difference. I didn't do a meetup in the Bay Area because I didn't think that many people would show up. But at this point, we've had 115 people. We have 115 people in the chat right now. I don't know what the max number was, but it's, I haven't thought that, I would get people to show up. So like if people are interested in it, I'd love to do like a meetup in the Bay Area. And thanks so much for the super chats. I never thought I would be at a YouTube level where people gave me super chats. Super cash. All right, it's getting pretty late, and I've heard some people talk about the audio. Um, I could probably figure out how to do a couple of West Coast things once I need to make up some money. I'm on my phone. But it's getting late. For some people, our East Coast people are at least 3 hours ahead of us. Here in the West Coast. So yeah, it's 8 o'clock here, but it's way later for some people. Thank you, Paul. So I'm gonna wrap this up real quick. Are there any new questions? The next live, I don't know. The funny thing is, my poll lives were the least popular thing as far as like future content. People weren't interested in lives. The first thing I do after that poll is do a live stream. Kiara! So I can't leave without thanking Kiara, who's in my live stream right now. She actually she fixed my curtains. When I first did my curtains, I just kind of like, they were all jagged, and like I don't think I can get it over here, but if you can see this lovely like cleanup job she did on my curtains, thank you, Kiara. Thanks for popping in the live. I mean, I'd like to go and experience it, and if it doesn't feel good, you live in a van, you drive away. So I'd like to go to the van building and experience it, and just, see what it's like. And that's the thing about living in a van. If you don't like it, you drive away. You'd be like, I'm not going to do that again. All right. Do a weekly live stream. I'll think about it. The problem is work, So apparently people want a Bay Area meetup. There are people who who would come to lives, and I think it's time for also me to get back to the Crystal. I don't know how many are Dark Crystal fans, but I've been watching the new Dark Crystal series on Netflix. So, ciao everybody. Thank you so much for the super chats. It was nice to get them for the first time. Thank everybody I know personally and people I only know online who came through. Anybody who's been here from the beginning. Anybody in here who's new. I'll try to keep bringing as much fresh content as I can and the realities of as I experience it, which isn't everybody's experience. Like, I'm sick of people judging other people for how they live their van life. I can't even use words. All right. Good night, everybody. I'm gonna get out of here. Have fun. I love you all. Okay.